Start as Chaos Demon and join the chat group. Chapter 10 Take Naruto away. Although Tony claims to be a rich man, his US dollars are not used in the chat group, so he can't help but envy. However, just because he has no money now doesn't mean he will have no money in the future. In the future, he can make his own Iron Man armor and sell it to the chat group. So Tony is rare and doesn't envy Madara so much. Although he is like this, others are not like this. Damn, Madara, you are my uncle, you are so rich. Conan envied and jealous. He is just starting to cultivate now and is still very poor. After a long time, Madara sneaked into Konoha. At this time, Konoha was already in chaos because of Obito's attack. There was the Nine Tails in front and Obito behind, and everyone was in a panic. So you came to Konoha this time, you won't just watch the fun. Tony looked at the people in Konoha running around, and couldn't help asking. Of course not, I plan to take Naruto away, I believe that will be very interesting. Madara smiled and said, Wow, you are really not afraid that Konoha will fight you to death. Everyone was shocked when they heard this. This is the protagonist, and you actually adopted the protagonist directly. But if you think about it carefully, it should be quite interesting. Although Madara planned to steal Naruto away, the people of Konoha only knew that the mysterious man controlled the Nine Tails to attack Konoha, and did not know that there was an Uchiha Madara hiding in the dark, so it was not a big problem. Today is the day Naruto was born, so Kushina seal on the Nine Tails weakened, so it triggered Obito to release the Nine Tails and attack Konoha by the way. Madara went all the way and came directly to the residence of the fourth Hokage Minato Namikaze. At this time, Minato was in another forest, fighting with Obito. And Kushina was also weak because she had just given birth to Naruto, and the seal of the Nine Tails was broken. I didn't expect that the little Nine Tails would torture you like this. Konoha is really worse than the previous generation. Looking at Kushina lying on the bed, weakly watching Naruto, Madara couldn't help but speak. If Hashirama saw that the Konoha he founded was destroyed by a mere Nine Tails, what would he think? Who are you? You are not in the same group as that masked man, are you? Kushina turned her head and found Uchiha Madara, who was wearing a black robe and a hood. Because his face was covered by the white hood, and she had never seen Madara, she didn't know that this person was the famous Uchiha Madara. Hehe, don't be afraid, I just saw that you are about to die, so I showed you your son's future. Madara seemed to have a new idea at this time, and his bad taste seemed to be a little bit guilty. I wonder if Minato and Kushina will be unable to help but give up when they see how the village they fought to protect will treat the son of the hero in the future. What do you mean? Kushina struggled to sit up from the bed and looked at Uchiha Madara beside her. Look, this is the village you fought so hard to protect, how will it treat Naruto in the future? As he said that, Madara directly used the ability of the chat group to directly project the video of Naruto's childhood in his destiny space. Madara was not stupid either. He only released Naruto's childhood experience, not the future of him becoming Hokage. Otherwise, Kushina and Minato might have figured it out after seeing their children go through so much and finally become Hokage. And only let her know the front, with Kushina's expectations for Naruto now, she will definitely hate Konoha. After a long time, Kushina, who finished watching the video, said in a somewhat cold tone, Is this true? Although she said so, she already believed it in her heart. With the character of the third Hokage, in order to be able to control the Nine Tails Jinchuriki, there must be such means. But speaking of it, it is amazing that Naruto, who grew up in such an environment, did not turn evil. Drinking expired milk, eating instant noodles, being excluded and bullied, this is the treatment of the son of a hero. Didn't you believe it yourself? Feeling the fluctuations in Kushina's tone, Madara knew that the other party had believed it. Kushina didn't know how she and Minato felt when they died to seal the Nine Tails, but she probably thought of Naruto's situation, but they subconsciously didn't think about it, and believed that the third generation and Jiraiya would take good care of Naruto. Unfortunately, in the eyes of the third generation, Naruto was just a Nine Tails Jinchuriki who helped the village become stronger. His so-called care for Naruto was largely to make the other party grateful. And Jiraiya, this irresponsible teacher, has been running outside, and he has always believed that the third generation will take good care of Naruto. What is your purpose? What is it? I don't believe you just came to show me this. Kushina looked at Madara and asked slowly. After saying so much, I haven't introduced myself yet. As he said, Madara slowly lifted the hood on his head, revealing the face that once frightened the ninja world. Let me introduce myself. My name is Uchiha Madara. Uchiha Madara? Impossible. Uchiha Madara has been dead for a long time. It is impossible for him to live until now. Kushina was shocked when she heard this. Her first reaction was disbelief. What? Your Uzumaki clan is known as a long-lived clan. Is it impossible for me to live so long? And how do you know that I died in the Battle of the Valley of the End? Uchiha Madara smiled when he heard this, but did not explain too much. Anyway, what do you want to do? Kushina knew that she was powerless to resist, and Minato was also fighting with the masked man, and did not know that Uchiha Madara had also appeared, so she could only wait for the other party's purpose. Nothing, I just want to change Naruto's fate and take him away, I hope you don't mind. Uchiha Madara smiled, and then stepped forward and hugged Naruto in his arms. Also, I'm going to take back the little guy who originally belonged to me, I hope you won't die like the original fate. As he said that, he left directly with the flash body technique. Uchiha Madara. The ninja world is really getting more and more chaotic. Kushina looked at the place where Madara disappeared, and her heart couldn't calm down for a long time. Shua. At this time, a figure appeared. It was Minato after fighting with Obito. Obito had left, and the Nine Tails was still making trouble outside. So Minato's plan was the same as before, and he planned to take Kushina up to seal the Nine Tails. Kushina, are you okay? Where is Naruto? Minato saw Kushina sitting up and asked with concern, and suddenly found that Naruto was not beside her, and asked hurriedly. He was taken away by a person who called himself Uchiha Madara. Kusina said helplessly. What? Uchiha Madara. Minato was shocked when he heard this. When he faced the masked man before, he was still guessing that the other party was very likely to be Uchiha Madara. Unexpectedly, another Uchiha Madara appeared. In addition, he showed me something. Kusina recounted what Madara had shown her before. I don't believe that the third generation would do this. Minato was silent for a moment, then slowly spoke, but his tone was a little heavy. Namikaze Minato. You are the fourth generation Hokage, don't you see the old man of the third generation clearly? In his eyes, Naruto is just a tool to protect the village. If it is really what he said to me, I will not be at peace even if I die. Kusina was furious when she heard this, and couldn't help but yelled at Minato. Minato had never won an argument with Kusina in his life, and it was the same now. However, after Kusina described the scene that the man who claimed to be Uchiha Madara showed her, he had already believed it a little. After all, the other party had already mentioned his plan, which was to use the Shikigami fusion to split the Nine Tails in two. Afterwards, he sealed the Nine Tails feminine side along with himself, and sealed the masculine side and Kushina's chakra into Naruto. Start as Chaos Demon and join the chat group. Chapter 11, Conquering the Nine-Tailed Fox. Seeing the Kyuubi unleashing its fury in Konoha, Uchiha Madara felt quite emotional. The tailed beasts in his and Hashirama's hands were just pets that they could handle at will. Unexpectedly, after Hashirama's death, no one could fight against the Kyuubi. Of course, he also forgot that Hashirama was known as the god of ninjutsu at the time. Together, the two of them could overthrow the entire ninja world. However, he has always had Hashirama in his heart, and Hashirama has always had Madara in his heart. As the reincarnations of Ashura and Indra, they fell in love and killed each other too often. In the original history, Namikaze Minato had already appeared at this time, and he would directly pull the Kyuubi into the barrier outside the village, and then use the corpse seal to seal it away. However, Minato was talking to Kushin at this time, and the two of them knew that Madara was going to take away the Kyuubi, so they were not too anxious. Although this will cause Konoha to lose the Nine Tails, after Madara's previous spoilers, the two already have some distance between the village and the third generation. Fortunately for Namikaze Minato, he himself is the Hokage of Konoha, and the third generation is his master's master, so he has a deep affection for the village. But Kusina is different. As a Jinhiriki, she has endured a lot of pain since she was a child. It is Minato's existence that makes her life bright. But for the village, when it comes to her son, she prefers her son. This is a mother's insistence. At this time, the group of ninjas in Konoha, under the command of the third Hokage, launched a continuous attack on the Kyuubi, but unfortunately it seemed that it was only a drop in the bucket. Uchiha Madara came to the roof in front of Kyuubi, and the Sharingan in his eyes turned wildly. Although his Samsara eye was given to Nagato, he later transplanted a pair of Sharingan eyes, and then relied on his talent and the ability of the chat group to evolve into the Mangekyo Sharingan again. Although it is not as good as his own reincarnation eye, it is still barely enough. Now that the Uchiha clan has not been exterminated, it is very simple for him to find a pair of Sharingan. Uchiha Madara, who has been hiding for so long, now appears in front of the world for the first time. After conquering the Nine Tails, he will regain his Samsara eye. Sandame-sama, there seems to be someone in front of Kyuubi. At this time, a ninja suddenly spotted Uchiha Madara not far away and quickly said to Sarutobi Hiruzen, "Could this be the person who released the Nine Tails? Didn't Minato already chase him? Why hasn't he shown up yet?" The third generation looked worried. The other person was obviously not from Konoha, he was probably the one who released the Nine Tails. Now that the other party appears and Minato is not there, it is very likely that Minato was trapped by the other party's trap. As for Minato being killed, I absolutely don't believe it. It was a yellow flash in the civilized ninja world. Shua. At this time, the golden light appeared, and it was Minato and Kushina who appeared together. Sandame-sama, I'm sorry, I'm late. Namikaze Minato came directly in front of Sarutobi Hiruzen. He put aside Madara's words for the time being. At this time, he could only deal with the Kyuubi first. Snored. Minato was like this, but Kushina was not the light. Seeing that the third Hokage did not give him a good look, she twisted her face, snorted coldly, and looked at Kyuubi not far away. Kushina's attitude made Sarutobi Hiruzen a little confused, but at this time, he was not paying attention to such trivial matters. He could only look at Namikaze Minato and asked, "Minato, did this person release the Kyuubi?" The mysterious person. Sandame-sama, this person is not the one who released the Nine Tails, but... Namikaze Minato said after hearing this, but then hesitated. But what? Sarutobi Hiruzen directed the ninjas to adapt to changes, pay attention to Uchiha Madara's movements, and try to limit the movements of Nine Tails. But, this person calls himself Uchiha Madara. Among the people I know, only Uchiha Madara is the most consistent with the mysterious man who released the Nine Tails. However, now this person calls himself Uchiha Madara, and I can't figure it out. It's clear. Namikaze Minato said helplessly. Sir, Yandame-sama, that mysterious man is about to take action. The ninja on the side suddenly said, causing Sarutobi Hiruzen and Namikaze Minato to look over quickly. Kyuubi, long time no see. Uchiha Madara looked at the Kyuubi in front of him, said aloud, and directly lifted the hood on his head. Who are you? Uchiha Madara. Kyuubi looked over after hearing this, but it seemed as if he had seen a ghost, and the tailed beast jade in his mouth collapsed. When everyone in Konoha heard the Kyuubi's voice, they were extremely shocked. It's really Uchiha Madara. Sarutobi Hiruzen was shocked. Konoha was really troubled. In the past, a mysterious person released the Nine Tails, and then someone suspected of being Uchiha Madara appeared. Now, the Nine Tails has actually been hammered. Of all the people present, perhaps only Sarutobi Hiruzen had seen the real Uchiha Madara. However, when Uchiha Madara dominated the ninja world, Sarutobi Hiruzen was still a child. It was many years ago, so he didn't have a deep impression of Uchiha Madara. The Kyuubi is different. The Kyuubi used to be Uchiha Madara's psychic beast, so he is very familiar with Madara. Now that he saw Madara Uchiha appearing in front of him again, the shock in his heart was definitely the greatest. No. Impossible, you were already dead, how could you appear again? Kyuubi looked at Madara Uchiha in front of him and couldn't help shouting. Okay, come back with me. Now that I have regained my life, you should become my first goal to dominate the ninja world. Uchiha Madara smiled, not caring about the shock in Kyuubi's eyes, and directly the 9 tails were put away through psychic techniques. The people of Konoha present couldn't help but feel relieved when they saw Madara put away the 9 tails, but they also became nervous. After all, the other party was once an enemy of Konoha. Tisk tisk, I didn't expect that the village that Hashirama and I built would be so destitute that it couldn't even deal with the 9 tails. Uchiha Madara came to Sarutobi Hiruzen and the others and couldn't help but mock him. It's really you, Uchiha Madara, I didn't expect you're really not dead. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at the familiar face in front of him, and the memories in his mind suddenly surged, as if he saw the number 1 person under Hashirama again. If I didn't come this time, would you still use that move? At this time, Madara suddenly looked at Minato Namikaze and asked. That move? Yes, for the village, I will do whatever it takes. Minato Namikaze was stunned when he heard the words, and then realized that the other party was talking about his use of the Shiki Fusion move, which is currently the most suitable move to deal with the 9 tails. Very good, you are worthy of my attention. Compared with your third Hokage, you are the most suitable candidate for Hokage. Uchiha Madara nodded in approval. What do you mean by that? Namikaze Minato was stunned when he heard this, not understanding why the other party said that. As far as I know, the third Hokage will also use the Shiki Fusion. Why would he rather lose so many ninjas than use it? Because he knows that you will definitely sacrifice for the village. After all, only the Shiki Fusion is the best way to deal with the 9 tails at present, and you are the only candidate to use it. Uchiha Madara smiled and said provocative words, but no one could refute. Humph, this old man has never had good intentions. Kusina was even more angry when she heard this, and couldn't help but speak out. The ninjas on the side also had different expressions when they heard this, but they didn't dare to speak out. They, the extras, had no right to speak here. Shut up, you are not allowed to say that about the third Hokage. Namikaze Minato said angrily. The third Hokage remained silent, and no one knew what he was thinking. Uchiha Madara smiled, said nothing more, and left instantly. The seeds of discord had been planted, and he didn't care whether they would bear fruit in the end. Start as Chaos Demon and join the chat group. Chapter 12 Sealing the 9-Tailed Fox. Uchiha Madara, who returned to the base, took little Naruto and found Lin directly. Let her take care of little Naruto, after all, she is not suitable to take care of children. Looking at the people in the live broadcast room, Madara smiled and said, Everyone, today's live broadcast ends here. If you are okay, please leave. I am going to leave too. Tisk, you are much more high profile this time, and you have changed a lot of things. Not only are the Minatos not dead, but you have also brought Naruto back. Tony looked at the sleeping Naruto and teased with a smile. I hope that the ninja world in the future will not be so lonely. And now that the Minato couple are not dead, and there is a gap with Sarutobi Hiruzen, Naruto is not suitable to stay in Konoha. And with my teachings, he will only be better than before. He is more powerful, Madara explained with a smile. Then what are you going to do next? Conan asked curiously after hearing this. In addition to teaching Naruto, the 9 tails must be handed over to him again. The 9 tails is not a threat, but a powerful helper to him. Okay, I'm withdrawing. You can continue your plan to develop the protagonist. Tony said and left directly. Everyone had nothing to say, so they also logged off and left. Seeing everyone leaving one after another, Madara closed the live broadcast. A few days later, in a forest outside Konoha, Madara held little Naruto in his arms and looked at the man and woman in front of him, who were Minato and Kusina. Uchiha Madara, what is your purpose? Minato looked at Madara in front of him with cold eyes. Don't be so nervous. You should also know that Naruto is no longer suitable to stay in Konoha. He will become the third generation to restrain you. Madara smiled and looked at the two of them and said calmly. If it weren't for you, why would we be here? I have never doubted the third Hokage. Namikaze Minato shouted angrily. It doesn't matter. There are only 3 of us here, so there is no need for this. Besides, without me, what you see will come true, and you will die in that battle. Stop talking nonsense, give me Naruto quickly, I want to see my son. As expected of Kusina, who is known as the Red Pepper, she is equally fierce when facing Uchiha Madara. Madara didn't care and handed Naruto directly to Kusina. Looking at Kusina who was teasing Naruto, Minato had a gentle smile on his face, then turned to look at Madara, his smile gone. Tell me, why did you call us here today? I don't believe you would be so kind to let us see your son. Haha, I came here this time for Naruto and I need your help. For Naruto? What do you want us to do? Minato frowned upon hearing this, then relaxed and looked at Madara and asked. I need your sealing technique to seal the Kyuubi's chakra in his body. Looking at Minato's somewhat angry expression, he knew that the other party had some misunderstanding and thought that he wanted to treat Naruto as a Jinchuriki. Although due to his personality, he doesn't bother to explain in most cases, Naruto is still very important and he still needs to explain. Shaking his head, Madara explained, You misunderstood. You should have heard of the Son of Prophecy, right? Naruto is the Son of Prophecy in this world. Although after I appear now, it doesn't matter whether I am the Son of Prophecy or not. But I will still try my best to cultivate him, and I will seal the Kyuubi's chakra in his body, which will make him stronger in the future. I believe that he will be able to conquer the Kyuubi in the future. With the help of the Kyuubi, he will be more powerful. Good growth. After a pause, He continued, I will help you split the Nine-Tails chakra into two, and you are responsible for sealing its positive chakra in Naruto's body. He cannot bear all the Nine-Tails chakra. With half the chakra, he can practice better. Okay, that's it. Before Namikaze Minato could speak, Kushina on the side directly agreed. Kushina. Don't worry Minato, I won't make fun of our son. Kushina shook Minato's hand and smiled gently. I used to be the Jinhiriki of the Kyuubi. I still know a little about the Kyuubi. And with Uchiha Madara here, nothing will happen. Seeing this, Namikaze Minato said nothing more and nodded in agreement. Seeing that the two of them had finished communicating, Madara directly summoned the Kyuubi. Fortunately, this place was quite far away from Konoha, and he had set up a barrier in advance. Otherwise, with the huge size of Kyuubi, people in Konoha would definitely find him. Madara, why are you looking for me? Kyuubi looked at the people at his feet and said, I need to seal your chakra into this little guy. Go and help this little guy. Madara pointed at Naruto in Kushina's arms and said, Are you kidding? I admit your strength, but if you want me to assist this ant, kill me if you can. Kyuubi said angrily. It also knows that no matter how strong Madara is, it is impossible to really kill him. As a tailed beast, even if it is killed, it will be resurrected after a while, so it is confident. Moreover, as a tailed beast, which is equivalent to a nuclear weapon in the ninja world, its dignity does not allow it to do this. I'm just informing you. If you behave yourself, you can fight with him in the future. Otherwise, you will be sealed forever. You know how many years I have lived. Although you tailed beasts have a long lifespan, I now have the ability to live longer. If you don't do as I say, it's unknown how many years you will be sealed in the future. Uchiha Madara snorted. He was not trying to scare the Nine Tails. With the chat group he has now, it is not that difficult to live forever. As he said that, without waiting for the Nine Tails to react, he directly used the sealing technique on the Nine Tails together with Namikaze Minato and Kushina, and at the same time, he also split the Nine Tails chakra into two. He kept one part for himself first, and the other part was sealed on Naruto with Namikaze Minato. Roar, Madara, you can't do this to me. The Nine Tails was split in two, but he couldn't help but roared. Seeing that the Nine Tails was completely sealed, Madara looked at Minato and said, when Naruto can truly communicate with the Nine Tails and fight side by side in the future, I will give him another part of the Nine Tails chakra. Then we will leave now. Looking at little Naruto, Minato, and Kushina were reluctant, but they had to leave. Madara opened the barrier and left with Minato and Kushina. Although he experienced some twists and turns, the result was the same as he expected. As the protagonist of the world, Naruto, although he could not surpass himself in the future, could become one of its generals. The fate of himself and the others who joined the chat group has been broken, and they have unlimited possibilities and can even transcend the constraints of the world. Madara knew in his heart that his future journey would be to the heavens and the worlds, and he would definitely not be limited to a small ninja world. After all, this is his hometown, and he needs someone who can take charge of the overall situation in the future, so Naruto is very important. I know the original plot. Naruto can grow up in such a repressive environment and still maintain a heart that loves others, so he can be a good Hokage in the future. I will definitely build a truly peaceful ninja world. It seems that the wish that Hashirama cannot realize can only be handed over to me. Thinking that he can unify the ninja world in the future, Madara smiled. I guess he will feel very frustrated when Hashirama comes back to life in the future. That's right, he plans to find a way to resurrect others in the future, and resurrect Hashirama and his brother Uchiha Izuna. One of them is his lifelong opponent and friend, and the other is his favorite brother. He wants to resurrect them no matter what. Start as Chaos Demon and join the chat group. Chapter 13 Arrival at the Orb World. Everyone, I am now on the spaceship of Yuyan and Tachibana with Gigula. Our senior Daigo and senior Saitama coming over. In the silent chat group, Honkai suddenly came online. He invited Daigo and Saitama as agreed before. Okay, I'll be there soon. Let me and Lena know. Daigo responded. I'm available anytime. Saitama responded at the same time. Ding, Honkai opens the live broadcast room. All group members can enter and watch. At this time, Honkai opened the live broadcast room at the right time. Everyone had nothing to do and entered Honkai's live broadcast room. What came into view was a handsome and friendly young man. It was not the first time for everyone to enter the live broadcast room, so they were familiar with it and greeted each other. The young man is quite handsome, comparable to me. Tony looked at Honkai in the picture and said narcissistically, Big brother, it's time to see you fight, come on. Ahem, Conan, can you stop talking like a primary school student? We all know each other well, so don't do that. Wulayoki reminded. Lena, I'm going to another universe, and I may be away for a few days. Deku found Lena and explained his purpose to her directly. Other universes? Can Tika go to other universes? Lena knew that Deku could transform into Tika again, but since coming to Mars, he has not transformed again. After all, there is Dinah guarding here. A new friend I met is a new Ultra Warrior. He needs my help to let me travel to other universes. I really admire you. You have retired, but you still have to fight. Be careful. Lena said helplessly, knowing that although Deku is very gentle, he will not easily change his decision. Don't worry, I will be back in 3 or 5 days at most. Deku nodded and touched the magic stick on his chest. As he said that, he opened the chat group and chose to teleport to Honkai's world. Ding, group members Deku and Saitama apply to enter your world, do you agree? Honkai on the other side received a prompt from the chat group and clicked to agree directly. There are no restrictions for members of the chat group to enter the world of other group members, but they need the consent of other group members. This is also a kind of protection for other group members. After all, not every group member is harmonious and loving. At the same time, a light gate appeared in front of Deku and Saitama, waiting for the two to enter. Deku and Lena nodded and entered the light gate directly. Kai was sitting in the room, and suddenly two light gates appeared in front of him, and then two figures walked out. One was handsome, with a gentle smile on his face. The other had a shiny head that could reflect light, and a look of despair on his face. Welcome to my world, Deku Sr., Saitama Sr. Honkai looked at the two people in front of him and said excitedly. Hello, Kai, and Saitama. Deku nodded. Hello, you don't have to call me boss, just call me Saitama. Saitama said shyly. This was the first time someone called him boss in real life, which made him feel embarrassed. He was used to keeping a low profile. After the few people greeted each other, Honkai looked at the two and said, Two seniors, come with me to meet Kikula and the others. Deku and Saitama nodded. After all, this is Kai's world. Although it is not the universe where his hometown is, the two of them do not belong here, so everything is subject to Kai's arrangements. Everyone, these are two seniors I know. They are here to help me this time. Senior Deku, Senior Saitama. Honkai came to the camp and found Kikula and Yuyan, Tachibana, and introduced them. Great, now Her Majesty the Queen has a better chance of winning. Yuyan and Tachibana were overjoyed when they heard this. Kikula was quite puzzled. When did Kai know these two friends? Why don't I know? Kai, when did you meet these two friends? I remember you have been training with me all the time. Oh, that, I knew them a long time ago, and they are not from this universe. Honkai is not very good at lying, so he can only deal with it casually. By the way, Senior Deku is also an Ultra Warrior, Ultraman Tika. Honkai suddenly thought of it and added to everyone. In this world, Ultraman represents peace and strength, and is the messenger who maintains the peace of the universe, so the peaceful races in the universe are full of goodwill towards Ultraman. In this case, I hope you can help. Kikula was stunned when he heard the words, and he didn't ask any more questions, so he just nodded. Kikula still had some resentment that the Light of Orb didn't choose him, but he and Kai were good friends, so he decided to help Kai complete the task. Approaching the planet Zayn, the spacecraft is ready to land. At this time, the system on the spacecraft prompted, and a gloomy planet appeared in front of everyone. Not only that, countless cosmic demons Beelzebub appeared and blocked the spacecraft. Let's go, Kai. Seeing this, Daigo took out the magic stick from his chest and said to Kai. Okay, Daigo-senpai. Tika. Oop. Daigo and Kai nodded to everyone, and in a flash of light, they transformed into two Ultramen. That's Tika, Ultraman. Kikula looked at the transformed Tika. This was the first time he had seen an Ultraman other than Orb. He was extremely envious of this because he was extremely eager for power. Ultraman, so big, looks really powerful, I envy their back and forth battle. Saitama, who was standing aside, looked at the two people's transformation, and his tone was a little envious. After all, although he could beat them, he was not so big, and he couldn't fly, and couldn't survive in the universe. More importantly, as he became stronger and stronger, no opponent could take his punch, so he was full of envy when he saw this back and forth battle. Saitama is oversight. Conan in the live broadcast room looked at Saitama's speech and couldn't help complaining. Damn, my genius Tony Stark will definitely develop a battle armor that can rival Ultraman. Tony looked at it with envy, paused, and suddenly said, You two, collect some monster samples for me later, I want to go back and study it. I don't know if my complete Susanoo can fight these monsters. Uchiha Madara, who was watching the video, suddenly said, thinking that one day he could also fight such monsters. I suddenly envy your world. After becoming Ultraman, you will have powerful power directly. In our world, even if you practice martial arts until death, you can't withstand a punch. Wu Lyoki looked at the powerful battle on the screen and couldn't help but speak out. Wu Lyoki's world level is too low, so the upper limit is not high, but if you can improve the world level, you can increase the upper limit of your world's combat power. Shichen looked at Wu Lyoki and said, World level? What is this? Tony asked after hearing this. Shichen thought about it and explained, in simple terms, every world has a level. Since there is a level, there are high and low. High-level worlds can accommodate more powerful people, and low-level worlds may not have extraordinary power. These worlds can be upgraded. In addition to the natural upgrade of the world itself, there are also human-assisted upgrades. I can tell you the details later. Let's watch their battle first. Seeing that everyone was about to ask questions again, Shichen reminded everyone that these things can be discussed later and there is no need to rush. Everyone thought it was right after hearing this, so they stopped struggling and focused on the battlefield.